Okay, Mike Masato returning for episode 21 of the Dental Road Warrior. I'm the CEO of Staff Driven Dental, back on the road yet again on a beautiful Friday. You won't see this on Friday, more than likely by the time it goes up. But anyway, happy Friday, everyone from the past. So, on the subject of being happy, I figured I'd share a little topic with you: how to increase your happiness in practice and in life. Why not? Why not? Sure, wouldn't be good if we could have life be a little happier as well? Sure. So let's talk about a little tool, little muscle that we need to build that we're lacking, and it's called our confront muscle. Using confront as a tool to face up to things and take care of them and resolve them in your life. Now, when I say the word confront to people, usually a negative connotation comes along with that word. When I say confront, what do you think of? You think of a negative connotation. It's going to be, this is going to be a confrontation, a conflict, something adversarial. That's not the case. That's not the word confront means. It can mean that, but in my case, what I'm talking about when I talk about confront, it simply means to face up to without avoiding. So basically the opposite of confront is avoid. And in life we can do one or the other. We can confront or we can avoid. Just like in our practice every day. We either confront situations or confront problems, or we avoid them. Now here's the problem. We live in an avoid world. No one wants to confront anything. They want to avoid, they want to sweep it under the carpet, they want to pass the buck on to somebody else. And what happens is, all of this is a drain on your happiness, because the more you avoid certain situations or certain problems, the more they become a negative controlling force over you and your life. This is what happens. Take it with staff. There's a staff member in the practice that we don't want to confront. It means face up to without avoiding. And she's doing some things that are driving you crazy, and we let it go. Or staff bring it to your attention. Hey, this person's got to be dealt with, and you don't want to deal with it. All right, we rather avoid it because we're fearful of what will happen. This is what happens when the longer you avoid things, the more they become you become fearful of them, and a negative controlling force over you. Because in our minds it builds up to be a bigger and bigger and worse thing. So we just avoid these things to our detriment. All right. So I'm not. This is ridiculous. This is how ridiculous it can get. I had a client call the other day, one of my coaches, and asked, "Look, I got a staff member at the front desk, and all she is on her cell phone all day long. What do I do?" Are you kidding me? What do? You go up there and say something to her. You confront the situation to say that it ain't working, and maybe write a policy about it to prevent it from happening in the future. That's what you do. You know, what happens is when we don't exercise this confront muscle, we get soft. And so soft that we can't even make the simplest decisions in practice to change things for the better. And there's a perfect example of that. You're really going to call a coach you're spending thousands of dollars for? This is the big question you have that you can't resolve in your practice because someone's using the phone or they're surfing the net when they should be working. This is common sense. All right? Save that, the big problems you can't confront. That's what you should really get some coaching on. This stuff should be easy. All right? So if you can't confront that, you're sure as hell not going to confront down numbers or down new patients or the problem with insurance companies, right? So we have to start building this muscle. And the way you start doing this is usually with strong communication. You get out of your comfort zone. I talked about that last time. And start going up to, resolving situations head on. Taking it head on in a non-confrontational manner, usually with strong communication. And you know what? And the rule about confront is this: you confront, and you confront, and you confront until the situation or the problem resolves. Because you may confront it one time, and you may go back and find out the same situation's happening again. All right, well, I got to go back at it again because the way I did it last time didn't resolve the situation. You know your confront's working when situations are handled and resolved and done. And done means done, no further action required, and they're done. Okay, so this will help you tremendously in practice when you start building this muscle of confront in your practice. So again, there's so many things that we allow to persist, non-optimum situations. When I say non-optimum, that means best possible. We have all these non-optimum situations. We should be shooting for best possible. I'm not saying perfection. I'm not asking for perfection, but I am asking for best possible. And ask yourself as you're listening to this: do I really have the best possible situation going on in my practice or in my life? What about people around me? That's the toughest thing to confront. If you got a messy lab or a messy office desk, that should be easy to confront. It's an inanimate thing. It's not going to give you a lot of pushback. The issue when the challenge becomes confronting people, that's another thing. Confronting patients on policies. I talk about this a lot. being able to sit down and talk about, I have a thing called a valued patient letter, which outlines all my policies that I created many years ago. It's pure gold. This thing's amazing. Policies are fantastic. It'll increase your revenue by maybe 20% if you put these policies in and enforce them. But you got to be able to confront your patients, on that. And we also have to confront ourselves about putting these things in, so people will follow them. All right. So this is again a tool, an ability to develop inside in your practice, because again, the other side of the thing, avoiding, is not good. All right. I mean, there's so many things. Money. I've had people tell me, wait, how'd you do this year? I ask them, how's your money? Well, I know, I'm going to go see my accountant next week, and he's going to let me know. I mean, really? You went the whole year and you haven't confronted it, looked at your finances at all? You don't know what you made? He's going to give you the bad news or the good news? That's not really being causative over your practice, all right? Confronting new patients, confronting problems with insurance companies. I mean, I always have people throw these things at me, and my question back to them is, what are you going to do about it? It's a simple question. I don't want to give everybody the answer. But it usually starts with a confront, because that's what coaching does. We give you the information, we give you the tools. Okay, you have to implement them, and then you got to go out and confront. What's not working, what's not optimal, what's broken. What needs to be, what's non-existent in our practice that we need to put in right now. All right, and take this on in your life. Look around, but again, people, all right, are the hardest thing in the world to confront. And the number one thing, I'll tell you, the number one person in the world is the hardest thing to confront. The hardest person in the world to confront? Yourself. Looking at ourselves, holding up that mirror of self-analysis and say, hey, I got to look at myself here. We don't want to look at that. That's the hard. Once you can confront yourself, there's no greater freedom. We don't want to look at ourselves and see, hey, what may not be the best with us. It's very easy to look at other people and look at that person over there, look what she's doing, look what he's doing. Doesn't he realize that? No. He or she's got a blind spot about that. That's why she doesn't notice it. But you got them too. And the purpose of coaching is to help take a look at yourself, and confront those blind spots you have. But it is tough to look at myself and say, hey, look in the mirror. Oh, I'm overweight. Oh, I'm smoking. Oh, I'm doing things that aren't ethical. I'm doing things that aren't right. I'm allowing things to, be miserable in my practice for my staff and me, or for my family. These are not easy things to confront. But once you do, there's freedom in this, and then there's happiness. All right, because you want to increase your happiness. Here's a measure. If you want to see happiness go up in life, start confronting things more as you go along. All right, that's what's going to make a big difference. Because if you looked at it, pick an area of non-happiness in your practice or your life. There's some non-confront in that. Something about it you don't want to confront. You're not happy with the front desk. Something about that you're not confronting. You're not happy about your money, your income, your revenue. Something about that you're not confronting. I'm not happy with insurance companies. Something about that you're not confronting. So sit down, take an assessment. Hey, where am I not confronting? Where am I avoiding in my life? Because again, once you start confronting these things rather than avoiding them, they can't have control over you. And it's kind of ridiculous to allow these situations to persist when all you got to do is work on this muscle. And the great thing about confronting, you don't got to go to the gym. Like I live in it 5 days a week. That's painful stuff. Yeah, this is painful in its own way. Okay, but the good thing about it is you don't got to go anywhere to do it. You don't need equipment to do it. You have all the equipment. Okay, it's called your own personal being, your mind. All right, you have this raw talent, but again, it gets suppressed. We doubt ourselves. All right, a little certainty is what it takes. You can do it. Go out there, start confronting, start using this realization as a tool. Hopefully, as I'm doing these things, the light bulb goes off. And some level of realization happens, and you go, wow, I just realized something. Great. Now what are you going to do about it? All right. So this is, again, a tool. Confront is not a negative thing. It's a positive thing if you're doing it properly. And believe me, there is a ton of freedom and prosperity on the other side of this thing when you really master the art of confront. I'm a confront master, 5th degree black belt in confront. Been doing it for many, many years. I'll tell you, and that's one of the top things I look for in my coaches. If one of my coaches can't go into an office and sit with a doctor and a team, when they're under fire, and they're under fire a lot, especially in Jersey. I don't mean gunfire, all right? This is in Texas. Did I insult half the state of Texas? Sorry about that. But anyway, they're under fire because they're on the hot seat, and this is what happens. Okay, when basically you're there and you got to be able to confront those situations. That's what good coaches do. All right. So again, it is a tool. I look for it in people. You should look for that in people. You need team members that can confront staff members, right? And you'll notice the best ones are high confront people. The ones at your front desk or your hygienist that can confront non-optimal health and be able to co-diagnose. These are good. These are good people. It's a talent. It really is a rare talent, you know. So you need to increase yours. And if you're going to be a better manager and a better leader and a better executive in your practice, okay, you need to really develop this. Okay. So I hope you like this topic. I love it. It's one of my personal favorites. I talk about it all the time, and I hope it was a little enlightening. And you can take it out there and use it this week to start getting on the path to a better practice and a better life. All right. So it's been episode 21. I'm glad everybody's enjoying these episodes. Like I always say, please spread the word, share the love out there, and I'll be back with episode 22 in about a week.